For the past few months, I have been deeply struggling with my caffeine consumption because it was difficult for me to stop consuming it, even though it was creating a lot of problems for me. Even though I only had a couple of cups of coffee per day, it was enough to make me anxious, irritated, and very impulsive. On the surface, what I really wanted was to reduce my consumption of caffeine from every day to once or maybe twice a week. But what I really wanted was to feel that I could control myself and that no substance had any power over me. I remember that one day I was about to teach a math class to my college students, and that day I made the terrible mistake of having 2 cups of coffee with my breakfast and 1 after lunch. Needless to say, when I began to teach, I felt extremely anxious and irritated. I couldn't concentrate on what I needed to teach because my mind was all over the place, and when my students had doubts about the subject, which was all the time, I got angry, and that was not fair or kind to them. One time, one of my students asked me a question and I said, "Why do you keep asking such basic questions? Can't you read?" Normally, I don't react this way, but when I drink too much caffeine, this tends to happen. To make it worse, I couldn't sleep at night due to all the caffeine, and all I thought about was the words I said to my student. The next morning, I woke up tired and I tried to fix it with more caffeine, and the cycle went on and on. I knew that if I kept drinking caffeine, I would eventually react in a harsh manner but in a more important situation, and that's why I decided to take a break from caffeine. My first attempts were unsuccessful. I went a couple of days without it, but then returned to it. I bet you can't relate to me if you have struggled with an addiction. After a lot of unsuccessful attempts, I searched online for ways to quit a bad habit. I found one that suggested to use a calendar and cross with an X every successful day I went without caffeine. Being able to see my progress over a couple of days motivated me to keep my streak going and abstain from caffeine for more and more days. This strategy is called habit tracking. At the end of each successful day, you record your progress by marking it with an X or coloring an empty space. The reason why habit trackers are so effective to break bad habits is because they meet all the requirements to change your behavior. First of all, a habit tracker is an obvious way to measure your progress. Being able to see your streaks is the most effective way to keep yourself accountable. This will make it impossible to relapse because your streak is always at risk. Second, a habit tracker makes your progress visible, and progress is the most effective form of motivation. The key to feeling motivated all the time is feeling that you're making progress towards something that matters to you. Whether it's losing weight, quit smoking, or abstaining from caffeine, if you want to feel motivated to keep going, then you need to make your progress visible, and a habit tracker will help you with this. Third, recording your success in a habit tracker feels satisfying. Marking a new successful day is literally a reward for your good behavior. It feels good to watch your results grow over time. It's satisfying to see how your streaks last for weeks and even months. A habit tracker will make abstaining from your bad habits feel very good, and if something feels very good, then you're more likely to endure. It's also very important to note that perfection is not possible and you will eventually mess up. In these cases, you must, and I repeat, you must, get back on track the next day so you don't fail on 2 consecutive days. Progress is not linear, and therefore you must avoid an all or nothing mindset. The problem is not slipping up from time to time. The problem is thinking that quitting a bad habit must be 100% flawless or else you have failed. A habit tracker will remind you that even if you break a streak once in a month, you have had 29 successful days out of 30. By the way, there's a link in the description of this video with which you can purchase the habit trackers you are seeing on the screen. They are a pack of 5 trackers of 29 and 90 days that will help you eliminate any bad habit quickly and effectively. The way to use them is very simple. First, decide if you're going to abstain from a bad habit for 21 or 90 days. 2. Write the name of the bad habit you are going to track. 3. Color one space for each successful day. 4. Repeat this process and enjoy watching your progress increase as time goes on. Also, for a limited time, when you buy these trackers, you can be part of my private Facebook group where we can connect and talk with each other. If you want a future free from negative habits, click the link in the description and get your pack of 5 habit trackers right now.